Hey, how you doing? This is Steve, real estate agent with Keller Williams Realty Atlanta Partners and the Malone Realty Group. So we've been talking about the numbers for July, talked about them through August and the early part of September. We're waiting for the August numbers to come in. The August numbers have now come in, and it's pretty crazy what the real estate market has done in Georgia this year, considering the fact that we're in the middle of the pandemic. And yes, there are sectors where prices are really not bouncing back, and sales are not bouncing back, and that is in the low 100s. Some of those price points are not bouncing back. Just about every other price point, though, is very active this year compared to where we were this time last year. So let's look at the numbers. Put on my glasses here so I can read these numbers out to you. So August of 2020 sales compared to August of 2019 up 25%. August of this year compared to August of last year. Typically, August is a little bit of a slower month. It's the end of the summer kind of boom because everybody's going back to school. Then we start to see things ramping back up as we go into fall, heading towards Christmas, and get another kind of break once you get in January, February. So that being said, this year is completely backwards because it's Corona year and everything got pushed and whatever, and schools don't matter anymore because you can do schools wherever you can do schools because you can do everything online. So people are still there. There's not really necessarily a start date that they had to be in place. So all those rules, and I don't say that to say that schools don't count. I'm just saying that being in school at a certain point, whatever, is not the same rules as it used to be. So people, there's not necessarily a rule that says you have to be in a spot by this date. Everything has just been kind of thrown out the norms of real estate this year because of Corona. So sales up 25% in August. The average price of a sale in the state of Georgia, 15% higher this August than last August. And inventory coming out of August, we're at 2.2 months. Last year we were at 3.8. What does that mean? So inventory, when we look at inventory, we always say if inventory is 6 months or less, that's a seller's market. And what we mean by that is if you added no more houses, at the rate that houses are selling, if you added no more houses, how long would it take to sell all the houses that are on the market? Right now it's at 2.2, which is crazy, crazy low. So if it's 6 or below, it's an insane seller, or it's a seller's market. If it's 2.2, it's an insane seller's market right now. So it's at 2.2. Last year was at 3.8, which is a pretty strong seller's market. Now it's at 2.2, which is like a crazy strong. It's amazing because you know it, you see it, it's palpable. You see open houses getting unbelievable traffic. You see multiple offers for everything they put on the market. And we're not talking about like 2 or 3 offers. We're talking like 11 offers. We're talking about 15 offers. I heard of a house recently that had like 30 offers on it because it was in that right price point, right area. 30 offers on a house. Yeah. So the market's a little crazy right now. So that's the numbers coming out of August. The beat goes on because the folks that are in the position to actually buy a house, their employment's coming back. The rates are good, and people are not wanting to sell their homes because of the coronavirus. They don't want people in their houses. So you have very low supply. You have very high demand. And that's why we are where we are right now. So year to date, so this year versus last year in the state of Georgia, the number of sales are actually up this year 1.6% from where they were last year. So what does that mean? Even with that break that we had in March and April where everything kind of slowed down in the beginning part of May, the numbers are higher this year compared to where we were this time last year for the entire year. So there's a chance that nationwide we may finish the entire year higher in the number of sales than we did last year, despite having that lockdown for those couple months. Number of new listings down 7.5% this year compared to where we were last year. So there were more houses on the market last year and more homes being sold this year, which is kind of crazy to think. So you've had fewer houses put on the market and more houses sold. That means if it's going up, there's a really, really good chance compared to average that you're going to sell the house. Pending sales is up 6.7% right now compared to where we were this time last year. And price is up 6.8% now to where we were this time last year as well. So, what does that all mean? That it means the beat goes on. I mean, until we get to a position where you're going to get that influx of houses on the market, and then I don't know when that's going to be. I don't know if that's not going to be until you get into late December, early January. Some of these foreclosure moratoriums come to an end. You have, all the forbearance stuff may finally mature once we get into March and April. Still a lot up in the air as far as what is that going to mean. How are the banks going to handle that? And at the end of the day, I mean, the reality is that wild card that's out there is the election. What's going to happen with the election? After the election, what are people going to do? Are they going to people are always worried about, who's going to win, what are we going to do? They may be sitting on the sidelines thinking about selling after the election. So once the election goes by, then you're going to have more homes on the market. You may have more homes on the market because the foreclosure moratorium, which has been pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed, may finally kick a bunch of houses out. And then you have some people trying to sell next year to take advantage of the fact they're trying to get out from underneath the forbearance that they've had. So there's a lot of dominoes coming early next year that indicate at some point there could be a break, because the reality is, with the rates where they are and with the inventory where it is, it's just a crazy market, and it cannot sustain at this level for that much longer, because we can't have these prices continuing to go up and continuing to go up at that pace and maintain affordability. Thankfully, we had the rates low. Otherwise, you just don't know who'd be able to afford with the houses going up the way that they have. So we're going to be watching the end of this year, beginning of next year, for finally to get some kind of change and some kind of break in the pattern. But I mean, I would have thought sometime late July, early August, as we came out of summer, things would break a little bit. There's no sign that that's going to break anytime soon. So we're just going to watch it, see what happens. Again, end of the year, beginning of next year. But in the meantime, rates are low. You heard the numbers here. Last month, up 25% on sales. For the year, we're up 1.6. We're selling more houses this year with less houses on the market. You're getting in the neighborhood of about 7% higher price this year than you did last year. I mean, it's all right there. And with the rates being as low as they are, there's more buyers in the market. You couldn't write a better time to sell your house. On the buy side, yeah, you need somebody in your corner that's going to help you navigate this, because this is crazy. Because, I mean, if the house looks the part and seems the part, and you need somebody to help you navigate that and get you through the multiple offer situation. So let us know what we can do. 470-233-4409. Steve, Malone Realty Group, Keller Williams. Hope you all have a wonderful evening.